the Constitution consists of 7 articles. The first 3 articles consist of the branches of government. The first article establishes that the legislative power in the Constitution is going to be exercised by Congress. Number 2, the executive power is going to be wielded by the President of the United States of America. The third article is called the judicial article, and that's going to be the subject of our discussion tonight. What you want to know is how you can make this discussion long-lasting. You want to be able to remember what we did tonight in very simple terms. So I think you can do that by the initial CPA. You're going to learn that the government is a business operation. It was created for business, by businessmen, to sell property belonging to the United States. And so, to learn the first 3 articles, I come up with the acronym CPA. C for Congress, P for President, and A for Article 3. Article 3 is the article that really hasn't been completed. When you look at the Constitution under Article 3, you'll see something like this. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and such inferior courts as the Congress shall from time to time ordain and establish. Incomplete. There are no judges. That's the second sentence in Article 3, that they're going to be judges. Now, what is the most significant thing that you're going to learn tonight is that we don't have judges of the Supreme Court. We have justices. And you can't find justice in Article 3 of the Constitution. You can find justice in Article 4, and when you get home, you'll look for it, and you'll find it. And you can only find justice in state courts, not in federal courts. And the way you prove this is by looking in Article 3 and looking for justice. You'll find it in Article 4, as I said. You won't find it in Article 3. What Congress did was create justices of the Supreme Court and allowed everybody to think that what happened was that there was a Supreme Court created. Well, there was a Supreme Court, but it's along with the other courts inferior to the Supreme Court in the Constitution. So, when you think about what you've heard tonight, you're going to put this together in the sense that you're going to be able to remember there's no justice in the Constitution. There is no justice. Rather, there's no justice in Article 4. But Article 3, there's justice in Article 4. And that means that the Supreme Court that was created has no judicial power. What was created at the beginning, 1789, and offered to the states for ratification, was a document for the people so that they could be free. When it was submitted to the states, it became another document. It became a document that was going to be ratified by the states, and that ultimately was ratified by the states, and that became their document. Now, a constitution for the states. Now, it has another evolution. It becomes a constitution for the federal government. And what you're going to learn tonight when you're sleeping, all this is going to come to you, and you're going to realize that what was created was a Supreme Court for a federal government that has an existence only on federal territory and in Washington, D.C. There's one other place that you're going to look in this Constitution. That's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. That gives it power to create all the legislation it needs for the District of Columbia. So that in essence is your first introduction to the Constitution. The rest of the Constitution is important, and we're going to hit the highlights right now. Article 5 provides for the amendment of the Constitution. So Congress creates justices of the Supreme Court, and the Constitution says they're going to be judges. Now, most people don't question that at all. They say, well, the justice is a judge. They both wear black robes. They must be the one and the same. Well, if that were to be true, then what would have happened would be an amendment of the Constitution, because to equate a justice with a judge is to really change the Constitution. So Article 5 is most important because it tells you how the Constitution has changed, and it doesn't say anything in there about changing the definitions of the words, substituting justice for judge or judge for justice or anything like that. So what you're going to come away with is Congress did this, and it did this knowing what it was doing. Congress didn't make a mistake. What Congress did was create a government for federal territory, and it's all in the Constitution. And what you can do to anybody is, right before your eyes, you can prove to them that what they've always thought of is totally wrong. If there's anything to memorize, it's Article 3, because when you can take out the courts, you've taken out the government. You've left them with practically nothing except the power to make laws for federal territory and the power to do business on federal territory and in Washington, D.C. You can effectively cut them out of your life. And the way you do that is by understanding that you can't change the Constitution except by changing it according to Article 5. The other thing is, we can't change justices into judges, judges into justices. We're going to learn another article now, Article 6. Article 6 comes right after Article 5. Article 5, amending the Constitution. Article 6 provides for oaths. If you're an officer of anything, you're going to have to take an oath. If you're testifying in court, you're going to have to take an oath to tell the truth. If you're an officer of the United States, you're going to have to take the oath that's provided for in Article 6. And that oath is you're going to support the Constitution. And no religious test is going to be imposed on you, so that this government is free from any religious test, any obligations to believe in anything except support the Constitution. Now it's going to get complicated. Now we've got these two sheets. We've got this is interesting because this is the first page of the first law of the first Congress on the first day. This is the law that they passed, and this establishes the oath that the Congress is going to take to support the Constitution. And on the other side, in Section 4, they explain that that oath is going to be the one that's going to be taken by all the judges. Judges, okay, not justices.